Hello and welcome to this evening's Navagraha Oracle Sleep Coaching Session. Today is Friday and we are going to be discussing and working with Shukra, Venus, the planet of pleasure, beauty, sensuality, and desire. Friday is Shukra's day, and if you are having sleep imbalances on a Friday, it could be from having too much food, buzzing from too much wine, over scrolling, too much screen time, or just a wounded heart. These are some of the imbalances that we'll be discussing in today's sleep coaching session. Shukra is magnificent. He governs everything that makes life delicious: food, art, music, love, touch, beauty. But Shukra is also the planet of excess, of craving, of the sweet poison that tastes like heaven going down and keeps you awake all night. When Shukra is out of balance, pleasure becomes punishment and sleep is the first victim. So, take a slow, grounding breath with me and let's talk about some different ways that Shukra can show up as an imbalance in sleep. So, the heavy belly. You ate too much, too rich, too late. Maybe it was cheese, the chocolate, the second glass of wine. That became the third and the fourth. Shukra governs taste and digestion, and when you overload his domain, your body spends the night processing what you have overloaded instead of the process of sleep being repairing and restoring. So you're lying there feeling the weight in your stomach. Digestion is a critical aspect, actually, to the process of sleep. Too uncomfortable to rest, too full to sleep. So although the pleasure was maybe felt worth it at the moment, the insomnia is now driving you crazy. The second aspect of Shukra's imbalance is the pleasure trap. You stayed up too late enjoying yourself. One more episode, one more song, one more scroll through beautiful things. Shukra governs enjoyment, and enjoyment does not want to end. It wants more and more, always one more. And by the time you drag yourself to bed, your nervous system is overstimulated. Melatonin is suppressed, and your body has missed the window for deep sleep. You traded rest for pleasure, and now you have neither. The next pattern we're going to talk about is the love wound. You're awake because your heart is hurting. Maybe you've had a fight with a partner that's been unresolved. Maybe there was an exchange before sleep that was leaving you feeling in conflict and unresolved, or you're replaying what maybe should have been said or was said at the time. Maybe you're feeling lonely from having the loss of another person in your life, and you're playing tender moments. You're yearning for comfort of another person. The other sleep imbalance that may show up for Shukra is the comfort addiction. You cannot sleep without your specific conditions. You've got to have the perfect pillow, the perfect temperature, the white noise machine, the weighted blanket. Shukra governs comfort and luxury, but when you become dependent on external conditions to sleep, you have given your power away. Sleep is a practice of surrender, of trust, of releasing control. But Shukra excess says, I will only sleep if everything is exactly as I demand it. And so you lie awake, arranging, adjusting, resenting instead of surrendering. If any of these landed, you are experiencing a Shukra overdrive. So let's talk about some of the Vedic tradition and the approach that we could use through this lens to improve sleep with a Shukra imbalance. Shukra is the teacher of the asuras. Think about that. The guru of those who take, who consume, who crave without end. This is not a coincidence. Shukra's gifts are extraordinary: beauty, art, sensuality, wealth. But they carry the shadow of never enough. The asuras are never satisfied. No matter how much they consume, they want more. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.62, there is a quote: while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. Attachment to sensory pleasure creates craving. Craving creates frustration. Frustration destroys peace, and without peace, there is no sleep. But Shukra is not an enemy. Shukra is the energy of sweetness itself. The problem is never pleasure. The problem is unconscious pleasure. Pleasure without awareness, pleasure without end, pleasure that controls you instead of you controlling it. The ancient sages understood that the senses are like wild horses. They will run wherever they please unless there is a charioteer. So, let's talk about some practice before bedtime. Tonight, before bed, we're going to look at Aparigraha. Okay? Aparigraha is the 5th yama in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. It means non-hoarding, non-greed, the wisdom of enough. And it is the perfect antidote to Shukra overdrive. So tonight before bed, practice this. Look around your bedroom and identify 3 things that you do not need. 3 things that are excess. Maybe it's the pile of clothes on the chair, the unread books stacked beside the bed. It could be a collection that's getting out of control. We do this with things that we're becoming unaware of: phones, cables, maybe it's ridiculous amounts of pillows. I don't know what it is, but most people have something in their home that is representative of an excess. Say it aloud: I have enough. I am enough. What I have is sufficient for my rest. It's not about minimalism. It's about realizing that you might be in a place of endless wanting and the energy of craving that keeps the mind spinning. When you practice Aparigraha, you tell your nervous system there is nothing more to acquire, nothing more to consume. We can rest now. If it's the love wound that's keeping you awake, practice emotional Aparigraha. Place your hand on your heart and say, I release my attachment to how love must look. I am whole within myself. I am enough. And practice 3, the Shukra mantra. Om Dram, Dreem, Draum, Shukraya, Namah. Let's chant this slowly 3 times. Om Dram, Dreem, Draum, Shukraya, Namah. Om Dram, Dreem, Draum, Shukraya, Namah. Om Dram, Dreem, Draum, Shukraya, Namah. This is the seed mantra of Shukra. It carries the practice frequency that transforms craving into contentment, excess into elegance, desperation into desire that is conscious, beautiful, and self-sustaining. Shukraya Namaha. I bow to the divine sweetness. Not the sweetness that demands more, the sweetness that is already here. The sweetness of simply being alive, of breathing, of having a body that carries you through this world. Perhaps chant 27 times before bed or use a mala for 108. I hope that this finds you well and assists you into a deep rest and rebalances anything happening on a Friday with Shukra. Blessings in abundance, and thanks for your time and attention. I'll see you for the next coaching video for our new themes next week.